Welcome to Friday training, my favorite time of week. This week's topic is setbacks to setups, and I'm going to help you work through how we can make every single setback in your life a setup for something bigger, brighter, and greater for you in this expansive universe. Remember, fill out the Q&A. We got plenty of time for Q&A for everyone here. Fill it out down there. Please, if you want the exercise guide to this training, it's free. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, or text me, join our community, 949-298-2905. Also, feel free to ask for my free book. I'll give you my book for free as well. These trainings are free. If you have any questions, let's put them in the Q&A section. We'll get right to it. All right, setbacks to setups. The first step of understanding why everything is a set up, not a setback, is if we know our what. And the reason is that when we have our eye on what we want, when we have our ears, our nose, our mouth, our touch, our beliefs, the aggregate of what I call faith on what we want, we have faith in getting what we want, then the trajectory of back and forth, of forward and back, don't mean as much, because if we have faith, which is the elasticity that creates the pressure to spring us forward, and the more faith that we have, the tighter the band is as we pull back, right? Do you think the pebble in the slingshot feels like it's set back or being set up to propel itself where it wants to go, right? You are the pebble, faith is the band, and we need to know what we're aiming for. And if we know what we're aiming for, we can get more and more excited, right? And have more and more faith, which only strengthens the band, which will propel us farther. Not only will it propel us farther, but remember, the universe is expanding in front of us. And so we'll go even farther. So the first thing to understand about what is, as things are happening, we know, one, we're not where we want to be, right? We're where we are, but we want to be somewhere better. And we're going to angle towards somewhere better, that what, and know and have faith, and the more faith that we have, that we're going to be in a position even better than that, will determine the elasticity, the strength of that band in order to propel us at what? An accelerated speed in the right trajectory towards what we want. And so how do we do that? Once again, we start and take inventory of our own values. We take inventory of our values to figure out that what. And we know that we need to know the what consciously of what we're going to think, say, and do. We need to know the what subconsciously of what our beliefs are telling us. And we also have to know our unconscious competencies, that quantum understanding that's been handed down, not only from great-grandparents, grandparents, to parents to us, but from even past lives to us, of what our potential is, what trajectory we should be set forth upon. Right? If we know our what and we know our potential of what, then we can have more faith, that aggregate of what we think, say, do, and believe in the unconscious competencies, in order to get there more rapidly and accurately, or even shoot past it. You are the stone, the rubber band is faith, and we need to figure out how to maintain excitement, inspiration when we're getting pulled back or set up to go farther, not set back. The less faith that we have, the more it becomes a setback, and the less speed in which we'll go forward, and we never may even get back to where we started, or we may continually get right back to where we started if we don't shift our faith, if we don't increase our faith through motivation, transition, and inspiration. And we have to understand the variables of setbacks in order to effectuate that propelling of the trajectory that we want. And so one of the variables is, how far back can I be put and still have the faith to apply the pressure or the resistance or the elasticity in order to spring me even farther forward. So take Jack Canfield, for example. Jack Canfield, one of my mentors, blessed to write a book with him called Unstoppable, Creating the Life You Love. He wrote a much better book called Chicken Soup for the Soul. And Jack had the perspective that every single publisher that he talked to was not a setback, but it was setting him up for something even greater. And as he continued through the first 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100 publishers all telling him no, He knew through faith that this was going to be one of the greatest books ever, one of the greatest franchises ever. And all it was doing was inspiring him more to tighten the resistance of the band and keep his eye on creating one of the greatest franchises in books history. Over 500 million books sold. But yet it took him over 112 publishers until he finally got it published. He needed to have the faith, right, as a variable, but as he went back, he saw it as, oh, this is setting me up better. This is setting me up better, right? It's just like I get to do or I got to do, right? Is it a set up or a set back? This is setting me up for something better. That needs to be part of your mantra. That has to be part of your philosophy. And the only way that we can truly think, say, do, and believe and have and shift our energy of a set up is that we know our values, right? Our values of what we want today, right? Which is to be in a trajectory to somewhere better tomorrow, but know that we're here today, not exactly where we want to be, but I'm happy to be here. And through that trajectory of my values, personal values of what's personally valuable to me, experiential values, what do I want to experience in this setup, and my giving values, how am I of service or value, even though this isn't where I want to be, where others would determine or laugh or scoff or make fun of me that I am failing or making mistakes or setting myself back farther away from what I want. Sometimes farther away from what you want is a better direction, only if two things. It's better to go back and set yourself up if, one, you have more faith, because that resistance that faith causes, that rubber band around you as a pebble, will shoot you farther and faster than someone moving forward without that resistance. And two, because it's making you stronger, and that faith is it's creating that resistance that's going to pull you and push you forward. But more importantly, it allows you to take the time to know the exact angle to take to get what you want. It allows you the time, it allows you the perspective to see what angle it is. So you're starting in the place where you don't want to be, but you're angling towards the perfect trajectory of where you would be better being, right? Not where you thought you wanted to be, but somewhere even better. All determined upon this aggregate of thinking, saying, doing, believing, and the unconscious competencies of your personality traits, your characteristics, your obsessions and addictions, all of them directed towards exactly what you want. So what people don't think about is the recoil, right? They're just thinking about going in the wrong direction. I'm always thinking about, it doesn't matter back or forward. It matters faith and what I want and how I'm angling towards what I want, not whether I'm going back or forward. Sometimes going and setting up more resistance and allowing yourself to see the whole field and going towards what you want is far more productive, accessible, and gracious than going straight forward towards something and finding out, oh, this wasn't what I want. I didn't see the whole field. I only had my ball on this. I only had my emotions tied to the outcome. Now come, I'm not happy when I get there. You need to realize I'm not where I want to be, but I'm happy where I am. I will angle and recoil where I want to be because the universe is also expanding, and I'm going to, because the universe is expanding in front of me, right? It's expanding. I'm going to be somewhere better. I'm going to cover even more ground. And that's so important, but only can be determined if you take inventory of your values. So what are the things of how we apply personal experiential giving and receiving values? One, at all times, no matter whether you're going backwards or forwards, you have to have the faith to create the resistance, the resilience in order to shoot you even farther. And what creates that faith, number one, is gratitude. Gratitude for where you want to be and where you are. Just two things. You need to find the light, the love, and the lessons of where you're at in alignment, synergistically with gratitude, the light, love, and lessons of where you want to be. That's simple. At all times, because that will strengthen the resilience of the elasticity of that great band of faith that shoots us and propels us at exponential rates and exponential growth towards what we want. The second thing is I need to forgive myself for being here. Right? I need to forgive myself. I need to have peace at where I'm at, but also forgive myself for what? Wanting to be somewhere else. Trying to what? Enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent pursuit of my own potential. Too many people don't forgive themselves for wanting more. to wanting to be more than enough, to want to be more in an expansive universe. They feel like they're not worthy. They feel like they're an imposter. They feel like they have to create shortages, voids, and obstacles, self-sabotage if they want something better. And you don't have to. You can forgive yourself for wanting more. You can be at peace with what you want and be grateful for it as well. You need to be grateful for where you are and where you want to be. We need to be accountable. We need to be accountable saying, what did I do to get myself right here? And where am I going to go? What lessons am I supposed to learn in order to get where I want to go or even past there? So how do we do that? Well, it's a 3-step process of number 1, we need to be motivated. And the reason we need to be motivated is if we want to be somewhere and we find out that we're not going in the right direction, we have made a miscalculation, we didn't know what we didn't know, we didn't ask for help, we created interference, voids, shortages, obstacles, we need motivation. Right? We need motivation to be grateful, forgiving, and accountable. We need motivation to get back up, to get started again. We need motivation in order to do that. And so knowing that we start with motivation, we need to have the tools in place to motivate us when what others perceive as a setback, to transform it through our perception of gratitude, accountability, and forgiveness to make it a set up. To allow yourself, as much as you're going back, to feel so grateful and excited that you're going to have more power, more resilience and elasticity, and be able to see the whole field of all the different options of where you want to be able to do that. And the only way that we do that is we start with motivation, knowing that that's going to get us up, get us back up, get us started, get us restarted. Now, what do we use to transition as the energy rolls out of motivation? Right? Everyone gets excited at the beginning. Everybody gets excited at the end. But how do we transition to be inspired, which will get you there, inspiration, in spirit, enthusiasm, connected to, without the interferences, voids, shortages, corrosions, to that great powerful source of elasticity, faith? How do we get there? How do we transition that? We have to utilize the habit machine. In order to get there, we have to start effectuating the habit machine. And we have to, when I say the habit machine, here's the step-by-step procedure of the habit machine. Number 1, you need to lower the bar. Right? So if I'm pulling myself back, I need to lower the bar. I do not have to shoot for the stars. I can shoot for the moon. I can just put my tennis shoes on if I want to work out. Right? If you can't be a student in your calendar every day for a minimum of 10 minutes, then just look at your calendar to start. Just say, I'm going to open my calendar every day. You'll get to a minimum of 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You'll get there. But in order to transition, you need to take exponential effect of compound interest. You need to lower the bar. You got to take that motivation of getting started, getting back started, getting up, getting restarted, and transition into a habit, utilizing the habit machine of something that you need to do every day. A habit is something that you need to do every day. Not that they're able just to do, but it's like you wake up and I am craving to eat well. I am craving to go work out. I am craving kindness and good deeds or whatever habits, gratitude. Oh my God, if you miss saying thank you, oh my God, I miss Tracy, I miss doing, then you know you have a habit. And the only way to get there is to transition by utilizing the systematic approach of lowering the bar, getting yourself in the motive of doing things every single day and allowing them to accelerate and grow. There's something called the zero effect. And the zero effect is what creates the clog or the interference in the habit machine. So what happens is that we start to do something and every day we get exponential compound interest. We get extra results. So day 1, you get X to the first power. Second day you do it, you get X to the second power. Third day you do it, you get X to the fourth power, and so on. Now what happens is if you miss a day, before this is something you need to do, before it's part of inspiration, without any interference, shortages, voids, and obstacles, when it's just clearly connected to this great flow that comes through you to others, if you zero yourself out, remember, X to the 0, 1 day of not doing it is 1, right back to the beginning. X to the 0 is 1. You're right back to the beginning. I see this in dieting all the time. People will diet 31 days, and they will zero themselves out 2 or 3 times during the month. So basically, almost the entire month, for every meals, they've followed a strict diet. They have utilized the habit machine. But yet again, all it takes is one burger, one sundae, one candy bar, and you get X to the 0 power. So after 16 days, you're back to day 1. After 21 days, day 1. So at the end of the month, you only get a minimum, if any, result, because you're back to 1. If you would have stuck to it at a lower bar and just said, you know what, I'm going to eat 1/8 less, and then it moves to 1/4 less, and maybe by the end of the month you're at 1/2 left, you're going to get exponential results because of motivation, transition, and inspiration. Understanding the difference is so important, especially when we consider things as setting it up. Considering things as a setup instead of a setback is just like saying I get to do something, I don't got to do it, right? I don't have to do anything. I get to do this. You need gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability in order to find that light, that love, and that lesson in everything. In order to see that you get to do everything is just like getting to see that this is a setup for something better. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm happy where I am because it's setting in front of me. And so how do we do that? Number 1, enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. In other words, keep pushing or pulling and adjusting your trajectory to what you want by taking inventory of your values, asking and attracting, being a student of your calendar, doing things now, and practicing ending fear. We can keep pushing and pulling, right, in whatever direction, but we must adjust according to our values, personal, experiential, giving, and receiving. And the second thing in order to do that isn't to be self-serving in the pull and push. It's actually to be of service and of value, to be abundant, to receive and show up to help others. Because that's what will transition your motivation to inspiration when your purpose, your why is coordinated within the context of the flow in order to help other people. This is what will take that self-serving start up, get back up, get started, get restarted perspective of a setup when we apply it to being of service or of value in asking for help of others, being in the flow, showing up and helping others. Showing up is asking for help from others. Helping others is obviously providing service or value to them as well. The third thing that we want to do is we want to focus on what we can control. So obviously, if we're being put into the resistance, the elasticity that's caused by faith, if we're being put into that, then we want to know, as we have to adjust our trajectory towards what we want or something even better than what we want, we only want to utilize the skills, knowledge, and desire that's in our control. We don't want to utilize things that we don't control because then we can't understand where we're aiming. And we then might accelerate in the wrong trajectory. And even though we have such great faith and we put in the effort, we thought, we said, we did, and believed all the right things, we could end up way outside of the direction that we want. So you need to remind yourself that you have control of your mindset, right? The mindset control of this is a setup, not a setback. Your heart set, right? We control our feelings. I'm excited about what I get to do, not I am bummed about what I got to do. And we use the control of what we think, say, do, or believe, the inputs that we have, in order to accelerate and exponentially do that using the habit machine, the X to the first, second, third, fourth, without zeroing ourselves out, without taking ourselves back to number 1. We want to make sure that we do that. And in order to do that, your elasticity, your rubber band, needs to be as tight as it can. It needs to have as much power as it can. It needs to not only control you from going farther and farther back, but also shoot you farther and farther forward. And how do we do that? Through faith and the actions caused by our faith. And faith is simply the aggregate of what we think, say, do, and believe, and understanding our unconscious competency, our potential of what are our personality traits, what are our own characteristics, what are our obsessions and our addictions, and how can we align them, make them synergistic or supplementary to the trajectory in which I think I want to go, knowing that I'm not where I want to be, but I'm happy where I am, but I also know that I'm going to angle towards what I want and end up somewhere better. Fifth, you need to surround yourself with the right people and the right ideas. You need to be able to surround yourself with that aggregate of what you want to be. You need to find people who are going to help pull you back so you shoot farther, help you aim, allow yourselves to control more by allowing yourself to have others around you that have more control. Allow yourself to surround yourself with those others who will encourage you, who not only motivate you, but will allow you to transition your motivation into inspiration. Will allow you, when you just don't have anything left, to say, you can do it. Come on, one more rep, whatever it is. You need to find people who are in line with the energy and emotion that you have, not deterring from it, separate from it, inferior, superior from it. We are all one, and you want to be around those people who best signify where you want to be, or those that can help you get there. Number 6, very important. You can handle more than you think. Stop limiting yourself. As that faithful rubber band pulls you back, the little pebble, towards what you want, don't stop from pulling you back. Don't stop from aiming in the right trajectory. Don't stop believing and saying and thinking and doing and all the other things that are available to aggregate that faith. Don't stop. Don't limit yourself and say, I'm not going to make it all the way there. I'll just settle for here. Look, you cannot out-ask the universe. You cannot out-ask anybody. You need to believe beyond belief. Nothing extraordinary happens without extra. Only ordinary happens, and only ordinary people give you ordinary things and believe ordinary things for you. Meaning, just because somebody wants something for you doesn't mean it's extraordinary. You determine what's extraordinary. You determine your limitations. Only you. The universe is infinity. It's abundant. It's forever. The universe is there. You can't out-ask it. You can't even fathom how big it is, let alone how far you can go. So work on figuring out how far you can go and how big it is. By having faith, by literally handling and telling yourself, I can handle so much more. In other words, do not live with a why me attitude. Do not live with a try me attitude. Live with a why me attitude. I'm going to get that wrong. I'm going to say it one more time. Don't live with a why me attitude. Live with a try me attitude. I can handle more than I think. I am not going to limit myself. I am an abundant, expanding being in this unbelievable universe. The 7th one is my favorite, right? You need to have the common denominator that all successful millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, athletes, celebrities, entertainers, all those people that I meet, all those people that you find on my playbook, all those people there have one thing in common. You must be what you can be. Do not make failure an option. Make every single setback a setup. You have to. You have to switch these things in your mind. There's no more why me. There's only try me. There's no more I got to do something. There's only I get to do something. And there's definitely no more setbacks in your life. Only setups with the full vision of the field, the elasticity of faith that's going to project you into the expansive universe exactly on target of not only where you want to be to where somewhere better with that faith. When you recoil, you will recoil to a farther, further, better, and brighter place using gratitude, empathy, accountability, and inspiration. And finally, when you do that, it will give you confidence, control. It will give you clarity in what you're doing. It'll allow you to stay balanced as they pull you back and shoot you forward. And it will allow you to stay focused on the target at hand, not only focused to where you want to be, but beyond it, because the universe is that expansive and so are you. You want to create compound interest in your life. You want to shift your perspective. No more try me. No more why me. No more why me. No more gotcha. And finally, no more setbacks. There's only try me, I get to do, and the compound interest of acceleration and growth that's caused by faith, the aggregate of what we think, say, do, and believe, and the unconscious competencies that we have. Every time I feel I'm moving backwards, I know it's just setting me up to go even farther in the trajectory that I want to go, allowing me to see the whole field, allowing me to be where I want to be and happy with it, but know that I'm not where I want to be, and angle towards where I want to be so I can go beyond it. Turn every setback into a setup, utilizing all of these different ways. Please, let's add some Q&A in here. I look forward to answering these. Reach out if you want my book, the exercises, all for free. 949-298-2905. David@dmeltzer.com. All right, let's start with the questions. Get right to it.